There is something that nearly every man that I've ever coached has gone through that is preventing their success with women. Now, this thing is extremely simple, but it gets overlooked by, like I said, nearly every single one of them. And so, what exactly is this thing that they're doing? Well, they're giving their time and attention to women who have zero interest in them. Yes, that is it. They're giving their time and attention to women who simply do not like them. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 3 things that will help you determine, or 3 ways that women are interacting with you that will show you whether or not they're interested in you. And if they're not, you can simply move on and stop wasting your time and find a woman who really does like you. So let's get into it. All right, so before we get into the 3 things that I want to draw your attention to that will signal whether or not she's not interested or is interested in you, I want to tell you a short story about one of my ex-girlfriends. Now, we had met when I was preparing to direct a commercial. They brought her in. I had never met her before. I had never met her before, but they brought her in as my assistant for a day during auditions. So basically, me and her sat at a table, kind of like this, and I did auditions. She would bring them in, and then after that actor did an audition, they would leave, and then I'd tell her. I gave her some notes of what I liked, what I didn't like. Now, like I said, I had never met her before, but we worked for the day, and as the day went on, we got to know each other. We got to know each other a little bit. We were loosening up. We were making jokes, things like that. Now, at the very end of the day, I went back to the production office, and she came in to hand in some papers and say goodbye to everyone. And she came over to me and said goodbye, and then she gave me a big hug. And this was in front of my producer and maybe one other person, but she gave me a really big hug, both arms, not one of those one-armed, very friend-zoney types of hugs. I'm talking full-on, both arms wrapped around me, drawing me in tight. And I was a little bit like, okay, cool. Like, she's giving me a hug. Not a big deal. Lo and behold, I'm just going to call her Sarah, by the way. During the time that we were preparing for this, we were doing 5 commercials. So during this time that we were preparing, I noticed that the following week, because she gave me that hug on a Friday evening, and the following week, I noticed that she was reaching out to me by text and asking me, hey, do you need anything? Can I get you anything? And now this is way before I had any semblance of game. It's way before I became the man that I am now. I didn't know pretty much anything about the dynamics between men and women, but I had a little bit of instinct, and for whatever reason, my spidey sense was going, and I just somehow knew that, okay, this girl is reaching out to me when she doesn't have to, so I'm just gonna kind of run with this. And so when she asked me if I needed anything, I told her, like, yeah, I could use some hot tea. So she came all the way downstairs, brought me some tea, and of course started a conversation. We were chit-chatting for a while, and things slowly progressed from there. Every single day we'd be texting and chatting. And so finally, I think it was maybe the 3rd day that we were shooting, she was texting me and we were joking around. And I finally said something that was I'm proud that I had said this, because this was very on point. And like I said, this was before I knew anything about game or being direct and decisive as a man. But I had said to her, all right, look, you know what? Why don't we just get together and meet up for a drink? I can tell that you want to hang out with me. I said that directly, kind of cocky, and she laughed and she's like, oh, really? Is that what you think? And sure enough, we went out that evening, got together, and after a short while, she did become my girlfriend. Anyway, later on, she had revealed to me that that first night that she had met me, and when she gave me that big hug, when she went to the elevators to leave, to go down to leave the building, she told me that she sort of fell back against the elevator wall, sunk to her feet, and put her head in her hands and said, "What was I doing? Why did I hug the director? Like, what was I thinking?" And the reason why I want to tell you this is because when a girl likes you, she makes it very, very easy for you. She's going to find any reason she can to interact with you, to talk with you, to touch you, to hug you, like Sarah did. And of course, back then, I didn't realize this, I didn't know this, but luckily something instinctually was churning within me, so I acted on it, which was great. But the point of this is that, like I said, is that when women really like you, they're going to do these things that make it easier for you. And if you just follow the trail that they create for you, well, your life is a breeze, okay? So, as I said earlier, a lot of the men that I've coached, they struggle with this, and they repeatedly get involved and put so much time and attention into women who don't do these things. In fact, they do quite the opposite. So I want to run down 3 things. Now, these things are pretty simple, but I think when you really like a girl, when you're attracted to her, you tend to overlook them. So I want you guys to be aware of these things. And these things mainly have to do with if you're doing online dating, or even if you do get a number, it usually has to do with the initial interactions via text messaging. Of course, it can also be the same for when you're talking on the phone or in person. But since so many of you guys do online dating and do texting, this, consider it sort of from a texting perspective, and I will give you an example using a text back and forth on a dating app from one of my coaching clients, so you can see where I called him out and said, "Dude, stop wasting your time with this chick." Okay, so the first thing is they give you, when you're starting a conversation, they give you one-word answers or answers that are very few worded answers. And so many guys will match with a girl and they're like, okay, well, now it's up to me to make a conversation. Let's get this going. Let's keep this conversation flowing, right? So they'll ask how their day is or where are you from. And the girl will simply respond, "Oh, I'm from Florida," or "I'm from California." And then the guy's like, okay, now I think of something else to ask her. "Okay, great. What was it like growing up in Florida?" "Hot." And he's sitting there, okay, did you like growing up there, or what kind of things did you get into? "It was okay." So you can see by her response that she's putting zero effort into it by giving those one-word answers. Now, as a man, from a man's perspective, you're thinking logically like, well, okay, if she matched with me, why isn't she interacting with me? Well, these are questions that you'll probably never get a straight answer, but you just have to look at their behavior. So if you match with a girl and you're trying to make a conversation and she's just giving you one-word answers, well, I hate to break it to you, but that probably means she's just not that into you. Now, a lot of you guys will rationalize, yeah, but maybe she's just quiet. Maybe I'm not doing a good enough job communicating. Maybe I need to be a better conversationalist. Maybe I need to come up with a funnier line. Now, I will admit that that could be the case, because I know for a fact that a lot of the guys that I coach need some help with their texting skills. But if they're just off the bat giving you these one-word, several-word answers, that's not a good sign. And what's going to happen is that you're going to dance around and try to pull some sort of answer out of her, and you're going to beat yourself up about it. And you're going to think, man, there's something wrong with me. And I'm going to point you again back to my story with Sarah. She made it so easy for me. She was there. She was asking me, what do I need? Can I help you? And yes, I know she was helping me out because she was my production assistant. But like I said, there was something different about it. And obviously what I was feeling and that spidey sense was telling me was true, because she revealed to me later that she really was attracted to me. And that's why we ended up dating. But A lot of you guys will beat yourself up and think you have to come up with some special magical pickup line or something to get her going. And it'll get a quick laugh sometimes. But like I said, if she's really interested in you, she's gonna be more talkative and give you more of a descriptive answer than just a one-word answer. So if you're starting to interact with a woman and she does this, I personally would say just drop her. There's no sense moving forward because she's just not that interested in you. And if someone treats you like that, why would you put up with that? That's a big part of what I want to share with you guys is if people don't stop giving to people who don't give to you. Okay, so I'll say that again. Stop giving to people who aren't giving to you, right? No, I think you initialize, you make a conversation, you're giving her the attention and giving her a conversation, but if she's not giving anything back, then it's time to move on and just take it as it is. All right, step into the texting laboratory. We're going to break down one of my coaching clients' message exchange he had with a woman that he matched with on Bumble. And I'm guessing, so this interaction takes place on Instagram because I'm guessing in her Bumble profile she probably had it listed and for people to contact her there. So let's read through the interaction and let's learn how to read and decipher. So he says, "Hey, saw you on Bumble." She says, "Hey." One fucking word, hey. So he tries again. "Hey miss, I enjoy seeing what interests you. My weekends and travels are very comparable. I'm sorry my social is dated. Do you still ride?" "Yep, I do." 3 fucking words to his paragraph. And this is a lot of times where I scold some of my clients where I'm like, dude, look at this. Look how much light simping is going on. "I enjoy seeing what interests you." Okay, I guess that's kind of just being nice, but again, there's a little bit of approval-seeking behavior there. He's being a little bit of a good boy. "I enjoy seeing what interests you." Hey, look, no need to say that just yet. "My weekends and travels are very comparable." He's trying to, find common ground with her, which is fine. You're just getting to know somebody. And then he says, "I'm sorry my social is dated." No need to apologize there. Absolutely no need to apologize because your social is your social. There's no rule that says you need to keep up on your socials. Maybe you don't want to do social media. Fuck that shit. Do your own thing. But anyway, the ratio of what she's texting is so long, and all she says is, "Yep, I do." So he tries it again. "Tell me about your last big ride." "Haven't done any big rides recently. Last one was in the mountains on the West Coast." There's no reciprocation. Like, what about yourself? Do you ride, or what are you into? What do you like to do? Just no effort, no energy. This is a great example of chicks that you just leave behind and you move on. Do not give your time and attention trying to win her over. It shouldn't be this hard. If she had some social skills, if she thought you were interesting or attractive, she would do more. But they're not. So I told him, dude, I said to him, like, yo, does she have like autism? Is there something wrong with her? Because her responses are just like worse than a third grader's. So I told him to move on, and luckily he did. And he found a way better girl after this. So that is the texting lab. Let's go back to the main video. Now the second one is if they say, if they never reciprocate, or if they never ask you how you're doing, right? So let's say that you ask them a question, or you're having a conversation, and they'll tell you a lot about themselves. Like, let's say that the question was, what did you do growing up? Or what kind of trouble did you get into this weekend? And she says, oh, I went up with my friend. We went out to a bar. After that, we went to a club and we were dancing. And then the next day, went to the beach and hung out with friends. And then it just stops. She doesn't say, how about you? What did you get into? If a girl isn't reciprocating and isn't asking about you or showing an interest in you, that's a great sign that she's just not interested in you. It's pretty straightforward. But again, guys, they want to see this. They hold on to the hope that if I just crack the code, because, as men, masculine energy is about overcoming challenges and breaking through problems. So we think if we can just crack the code with this girl, it'll all of a sudden open up the floodgates to her talking to us, her really liking us, things like that. But let me just tell you a little something about that, because let's say you continue interacting with a girl who doesn't really reciprocate or say much to you, and you do end up going out on a date with her. The whole time, you're most likely going to be what I like to consider the court jester. You're the entertainment for the evening, and you're trying to get, your majesty to laugh, to have some sort of reaction, whether it be she laughs or has an emotional reaction, any sort of action. And you're so hungry for that attention. You're so hungry for that validation from her, just anything. And she may give you a breadcrumb here and there, toss you a little something to savor for a little bit, which then keeps you going. You're like, okay, well, I got a little bite, so maybe if I try harder, I'll get a bigger bite. But again, a woman who really likes you, she's going to make it easier for you. She's going to be like, oh, really? Are you interested in, you like art and music? Wow, it's so cool. Tell me about that. Like, what kind of bands do you like? Oh, really? I love that band too. Or did you ever learn an instrument growing up? Oh, you played piano? No kidding. Wow, are you really good at it? She's going to do these things to push the conversation forward because she genuinely wants to get to know you. But guys oftentimes think, I gotta win her over. I gotta convince her. I gotta prove myself and show her that I'm a guy worthy of paying attention to. And again, one of the reasons why so many guys, when they come to me, feel frustrated is because they don't realize that no matter what you do, it's not going to go anywhere. And so you end up feeling shitty about yourself. You end up thinking, I'm a loser, I'm a failure. When in reality, she just doesn't like you, and it's nothing to take personal. Now, there are times where, yes, you need to work on your conversation skills, but most of the times you don't, especially, like I said, going back to Sarah, if she likes you, she makes it easy for you. All you have to do is follow the trail. And when I say follow the trail, I don't mean that she leads. I just mean that you look for those signs and then you lead her towards going on a date with you. She's trying to put herself in front of you so you take her and lead her down the path of romance. That's what a girl who likes you is going to do. Okay, let's move on to the third one. And that is, if a girl, this one's so funny because this happens to every single man. Tell me if this has happened to you. She says that her schedule is so crazy, or she's so busy, or it's just so hectic right now. My schedule's so crazy. Everything's so crazy over here, and she doesn't know when she can get together with you. How many of you has this happened to? Okay, I mean, because it certainly has happened to me plenty of times. And as soon as you see that sentence, just tell yourself, all right, you know what? It's been fun, but it's game over. Now, why is it game over? Because 800 times out of 10, she is not that busy, okay? People are not ever that busy unless you're running some company, unless you're a diplomat, unless you're flying to new countries every week. You're really not that busy. And even if you are doing those things, if there's someone that you really want to meet, you're gonna make time to meet up with them. I mean, it's just a plain fact. It's just like, and guys don't want to see this. They want to just believe like, okay, yeah, she's really busy. She's got a busy job. So every excuse that she has, it's probably legit. It's not, man. If she really wanted to see you, I mean, just think about, there's been times where I've gotten with girls that, that really into me. They drove 2 hours at midnight just to come to see me at 2 a.m, okay? Or whatever the reason was, it finds like, oh, no, I can come. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's not too late. I can come see you, or I want to see you, or, let's make it work. I am busy this day, but the following day, I think I can just cancel my plans with my friends. I mean, they're going out of their way to cancel plans. They'll stay up late. They'll drive through the night. Any obstacle you put in their way, they'll find a way around it. I mean, this is what it's like when you're dating, when you're with a woman who actually likes you. With women who aren't that interested in you, they could be like, oh, I gotta clean my bathtub, or oh, I gotta do my laundry, or oh, my dog isn't feeling good, so I gotta stay home with him. Just some bullshit excuse. And what I want you guys to take away from this is to be more cognizant of that. A woman will find a way to meet up with you if she really likes you. Or she will find any excuse in the fucking book if she doesn't like you and doesn't want to get together with you. But she'll say some bullshit excuse just because she doesn't want to look like the bad guy and she doesn't want to hurt your feelings or whatever the reason is. But you need to be aware of these signals. If she says she's crazy, if her schedule's crazy, she doesn't know she can get together, a lot of the guys will say, well, how about this day? Well, how about that day? And they're chasing after time to get together. And soon enough, the girl will just kind of stop responding. And then, of course, the man will do the dreaded double text, the triple text, and then it's fucking, you're done. You're cooked. You're going to look like a stalker. So if she says she's crazy, her schedule's crazy, she can't get together for whatever reason, just take it as she ain't into you and move on. Okay, so in closing, the main gist that I want you to take away from this is that spend time with women who are making an effort. Spend time with women who look for reasons to get together, look for reasons to talk. They'll find things during the day, send you a message, hey, this reminded me of you, okay? All that kind of stuff. Now, one of the things that I do want to caution you of is sometimes women will say, well, same goes for a man. Like, if he really wants to see you, he'll make time to see you. Now, that is true to a certain extent, but again, don't fall into the trap that men and women behave the same, because they don't, and they're not equal. They're not equal at all. They're very different operating systems. So, a man will initiate the relationship. Hey, let's go on a date. Let's set up a date. You'll lead that and get that interaction going, and you might do this for a few weeks. Now, after that, though, once her feelings start to grow for you, she's going to want to spend more and more time with you. That part of it is the feminine part. If you do that instead, and you're reaching out to her all the time and engaging too much, it's going to come across as feminine, and she's going to get a little bit turned off and back away. So that's why your job is just to set up the date, but not to be expressing all your emotions and feelings and connecting and sending her little love notes and stuff on the phone. Let her feelings grow on the dates, and then after several weeks, she'll be the one coming towards you, messaging you, and then things will build more naturally from there. Okay, but don't think that because a lot of women will say, well, if the guy really likes you, he'll show you, he'll reach out to you all the time, he'll want to do this, that, and the other thing, and that's just simply not the case. If you do that, most women will be repulsed by it because you're acting a bit feminine. Now they won't admit this, but deep down that's what they respond to, and that's how they'll behave. So just keep that in mind. That set up a date once a week. Now, will there be exceptions in your life sometimes? Of course there will. Like, even with Sarah, we were seeing each other every single day, obviously because we were on the job. And even though I didn't know what I know now, I still had some level of natural instinct to keep it fun. And again, I was the director, so that helped. I'm like the big boss man on set, which helped. But again, it was more about the game, and I'm fun to be around. I'm good at teasing. Those are the natural things that I had even before I knew about game. I was good at teasing people. I had a good sense of humor, and that really helped to draw in the women that I dated even before I knew the things I know now. So anyway, the main point of this is the 3 things to look out for. And just in general, if there's things beyond these 3 things, you might notice that, she's probably not that interested in me. Just take it as it is and move on. Your life is going to be so much easier. Your dating life will be so much more fulfilling when you spend time with women who like you. And one thing, too, that I want to add to this whole conversation is that some of the men that I've coached are really uncomfortable, I found out, with women who like them. They are stuck in the cycle of perpetually chasing women who are unavailable, who don't reciprocate feelings, because these men, for whatever reason, their self-esteem is low, that they only feel good when a woman they deem to be hot or better than them approves of them. But chances are this will never happen, and they'll be stuck in this loop forever of never being fulfilled. When a woman who really dislikes them comes around, they're repulsed by them and they push them away because their self-esteem doesn't allow for them to be liked by a woman. So keep yourself in check. Ask yourself that difficult question. Are you subconsciously pushing away women who like you because you don't feel worthy and that you think you need to win over chicks who don't like you and who are maybe act like a whole bitch? If that is the case, do some reflection on that, because I could certainly, I've seen this so many times with the men that I've coached. So something to keep in mind. All right, guys. I have a private men's group. It's called the Club Scoundrel, that we do group coaching twice a month. So if you're interested to go join our community, I have a Discord on there where we discuss things, share ideas, other like-minded men. Click the link below. It's $10 a month, but like I said, gets you this community, full access to the community and me, and a 2 group coaching calls a month. Okay, so click on the link below and check that out. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.